Hey, welcome all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P Farm. Thinking right out here in my lab, in the book. Got some good stuff for you coming up. Let's do what we do. I'm excited about this new book I'm dealing with, so let's rock. Rightism, 25 Rules to Live By. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune into receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows that they know is a person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself, and to Maya, be true. We talk about the Trinity. Right thinkers, the Egyptian Trinity in mythology of Amun, Ra, Ptah. Sound familiar? That's the main god and goddesses of the Ptah meta spirituality and of the Per Haru. We know it as our ancient Bible before the modern one, aka basic instructions before leaving Earth. You see this right here? This is three couples of gods: Amun, Ra, Ptah. Okay, they all represent different aspects in different areas, but from creation. Let's talk about this right quick. This is a good lesson. You see at the bottom down here, whenever you see the circle, that's God. Everything in it is of God. Get the concept? You see here, Panetta, okay, Nabercha, that's the self. When you hear me say the self, that's this right here, the center. And you got Amen, hidden, Ra, visible, Ptah, in the flesh. Those we're going to talk about, break it down for you, give you a better understanding. At this point, I don't have to keep going back and know we should be rolling by now, so this is college level stuff here, all right? Now, the Egyptian Trinity Mythology of Amun, Ra, Ptah represents a major philosophical discourse on the composition of nature. Trying to break it down for you as best they could. And this is from ancient times. The Memphite theology is based on the god Ptah. It's only 1/3. Remember, there's three different stories. This is just one of them. 1/3 of the entire teachings. So if you get this, you got 1/3. You get the Assyrian, then you get the Wasetian. Now you have all three. I have all three. So this is just one I'm going to break down a little more significant. Hopefully you can understand it. Let's rock. All right. Now, this is only 1/3 of the entire teachings. The entire wisdom of the Trinity, which is the deeper mystical implications of the Memphite theology and what it represents for the practice of yoga, will be more fully discussed later on as I go through the book in this volume. But once again, the most important idea to understand, to get the concept of now, is that the universe is like an ocean of existence in which everything is alive, okay? And infused with what? The sustaining essence of the divine, aka God. That circle, everything in that circle is of God, okay? God encompasses everything, all right? So, and it says right here, the hieroglyph, I became from one God to three gods. I became from God one, gods to three. I became from one, became three. And what he's saying is I became the Trinity of myself. And he's showing here, I just showed you the first one, A, B, and C. A is the god Amun, B is the god Ra, and C is Ptah. And they all have their female counterparts. Okay, I'm going to break that down for you as we go also. I just showed you the circle. And Ptah is part of the great ancient Egyptian trinity of the Amun Ra Ptah concept, who emanate from the Nebuchadnezzar. Again, that's the high God, the one God, and the all-encompassing, again, supreme being, the self. All that's one. They got God by different concepts, different names, but still one God. These are all titles, okay? But the great trinity of the ancient Egyptian, including both male and female principles. Again, these are principles and aspects. Can't have one without the other. So, A, Amun. Amun's female counterpart is Amenet or Amet, or better known as Mu. Okay, the great mother. That's Amun's counterpart. And you see B was Ra, and he got Rai, spelled R-A-I. That's the female version of Ra. Then you got C, you got Ptah. Ptah is the counterpart to Sekhmet. Now Sekhmet represents what? The female aspect of energy, the life force system. So those two go together to create their son, which is Nefertiti. They call him the beautiful one, okay? Every one of these couples have an offspring. Amun and Mut, offspring is Kansu. Ra and Ra, offspring is Asar. Excuse me. And then you got Ptah and Sekhmet, offspring is Nefertiti. So they all have male offspring. It's going to be one or two in here that has a female offspring. Just want to get you ready. It ain't always the male. I thought so for a while. Then I studied. No, you got some female offspring too. Okay. But I just pointed out to you the circle, the little sun, the disc right here. You see it all in there? The Bircha, Amun, Ra. And the further out you go, the further away you get. Okay? So now, the physical body is the last realm, the final realm. That's called the Ptah, the pet, excuse me. But we're going to get more into that. The two dimensions that I just showed you is a depiction of creation as symbolized, again, this is all symbolic, by the trinity of Amun, Ra, Ptah, and the transcendental self. That's the inner part, and the virtue, the self. That's the center part. Now, on this page, we're going to deal with, now in this manner, it should be understood that creation is an emanation from the divine, and further, that the emanation is itself the divine. There is no separation between God and his creation. That's what's important. That's why I got a problem with this modern religion concept. They put God outside his creation. Don't agree with that. Moving on. Now let's talk about the main god and goddesses of Ptah Netta, the philosophy that I practice, Netta spirituality, and this is from the Pert M. Haru, aka our Bible, or basic instruction before leaving Earth. We knew there was an afterlife. So we had to get what? Basic instructions to make it to the afterlife. That's what this is all about. And the Bible does the same thing its way. Moving on. But now let's talk about, you have Amun, Mut, and Kansu. That's their father, mother, and son. You got Ra, you got Asar, Aset, and Haru, representing the Ra Anuin concept. Then you got the Menphite concept, which is Ptah, Sekhmet, and their son Nefertiti. They all have offspring, and they all ties together. Watch this. Now let me get into the lesson right quick. I see clock. All right. Now I just gave you a breakdown of the table that provided to show the relationship between the main divinities, of Ptah Netta, ancient Egyptian religion. Okay. Now, in the context of the overall scheme of our ancient Egyptian mythology, it should be noted and understood that the hierarchy presented above should not be taken in an order of importance, meaning one higher than one, probably than the other, no. But it is in an order of emergence in the prominence of the divinity in the culture of ancient Egyptian religious practices. Everybody had their own system. And there are 4 main Trinity systems. Yep, watch this. Which became prominent in ancient Egypt in different parts. And all the divinities emerged at the same time, but their prominence as individual worship divinities occurred at different times and places in ancient Egypt in the history. Amun, Ra, Ptah is the first. Arising out of each of these, which started a new trinity of what you call male, the father, female, the mother, and the child, the offspring, emerges. Thus, we have Amun, Mut, and Khonsu, Asar, Aset, Haru, and Ptah, Setmet, and Nefertim. And now Khonsu, the offspring from Mut and Amun, and Nefertim, the offspring from Ptah and Setmet, are just another aspects of who? Haru. They're all the same. The main Trinity system, there you go, related to the Pert and Haru, the book, is based on Ra, which is Asar, Aset, and Haru. When dealing with the Wasetian theology, now the main Trinity system of this mythology is related to Amun, Mut, and Khonsu in Waset. When dealing with the Hetkapata theology, that's the main Trinity system, the mythology related to who we talk about right now, Ptah, Setmet, and Nefertim. All right, that's the Mythite. Thus, it is clear that which each divinity system has a clearly divine mythology and mystery teachings that relates to it, and they all are in effect what? Related to each other, not contradicting each other, but complementing each other in a broad context of an all-encompassing set of what we call complementary principles, opposites, which together are more than the sum of their parts. In essence, when put together, they transcend any polyistic concept and it produce a picture of universal wholeness. Indeed, they represent the harmonious family whose members are all descended from the same ancestor. This is why the reader may notice that sometimes references are made to other divinities in relations to the Trinity. Also, you have the divinities that are represented in similar iconographs. Watch this. For example, Atum Ra, Amun, and Asar have divine boats. They all travel by boat. They are used virtually interchangeable. Why? Because their underlying origin and symbolisms are all closely related. That's why. The difference presented in each myth and the icons are on the purpose of the purpose of introducing and elucidating various aspects of the divine. Just like in modern big business, you got the market department may have several executive highlighting, they're promoting the different aspects of the same company. So as they coordinate their work, they produce in the mind of the people a view of the company, and from different angles, creating a total view of the company. In a sense, the sages of our ancient Egyptian mythology created a mythology with different names and forms so to teach the masses, meaning everybody, about the glory and the diversity of the divine, so as to show them the grandeur of the spirit for everybody to share. Not just a select group, we're going to teach that. We got Muslims over here, Christians over there, Jews over there, Buddhists over there, and Hindus over there. Everybody's over somewhere doing something different. But they all have one thing in common. That's the spirit. That's the point right there. So whichever group you agree with or don't agree with, don't make a difference. They're all doing pretty much the same thing, just different ways. And that's okay. Moving on. Now, in this context, you have Amun Ra, who is the primordial divine principle which emanated from what? The primeval waters, the noon, which would meet her, to engender what? Creation. Thus, Ra is considered the supreme being, and Asar is his what? Incarnated avatar. Just like Haru is the incarnation of Asar. Asar is the incarnation of Atum Ra, or Ra, okay? In the divine incarnation on earth in physical form, in the flesh, so to speak. That's us. Much like Jesus, okay, is an incarnation of God. Y'all say the only begotten Son of the Father in Christianity. And you got Krishna is incarnation of the god Vishnu in the Hindu. Further, after he is killed by Set, he incarnates and his son, and through him, he ultimately attains victory over the forces of chaos, ignorance, and egoism. That's Asar. That's who Haru, me and you, represents. So, although all of the gods and goddesses are related, the story of Asar was the most popular, the most powerful in terms of popularity and appeal. Everybody practiced it because it worked for them. It is upon those teachings that related to Asar that the entire teachings of the Pert M. Haru are primarily based on. Okay? Based on that philosophy, that theology, they followed their concept throughout the whole book pretty much. But they also knew that in other areas, they had their belief system also. Religious philosophical principles that they follow. Wrapping it up, the religion of ancient Egypt revolved around 4 major trinities of gods and goddesses who emanated from the one supreme being. Thus, you have the Trinity. You had these trinities, and you made a major centers of worship in ancient times. Okay, they were Amun worship in Thebes or Waset. You had Ra with the city of worship for Anu and the Anuians, the city of the sun. Excuse me. Excuse me. And you have Ptah, which is the city of worship in Hetkaput. Hetkaputah. Hate that. Hetkaptah. As Asar, which is the city of Abdu, which was the first spot where the fallen Asar's body had been claimed. And along with these divinities, their female counterparts, all of them had a female counterpart, and their sons, the offspring, also had centers in the island of Philae, okay, where Haru had a worship center, they had the center for him, Edfu, in the city of Ambu. However, it must be clearly understood that all of these divinities are really related philosophically. They emanated from what? Pa-Netta, the same one, or the Nabercha, or we call the Supreme Being, and therefore must all be considered as brothers and sisters. Okay? So the idea of classifying the Neteru or gods and goddesses comes about as the sages of ancient times sought to explain the manifestation of the divine in nature as well as in human psychology. However, they should not be understood as divinities, but as what we consider cosmic forces or principles. Their forms denoting the special qualities of those forces. That's we use the animal heads and the animal figures, okay, the zoomorphic form. The ancient Egyptian word Neteru, which is loosely translated as gods and goddesses, Netera, and Anglo words nature and natural. The neteral plural emanate from what the neter singular meaning supreme being, supreme essential power, the one. Thus, the neteru have mystical references to the nature and the mystical reference to human psychology, which led to greater understanding of the origins and the destiny of human existence, where we come from, where we're going, what we're doing. We will begin our survey of the Neteru with what the primordial ocean we call the noon. In Memphis theology, let's go. Ptah, God, is not seen as the creator who by some unnatural magic causes the universe to exist out of nothing. When it is stated that the universe was created by magic, it is not the same magic performed by magicians. No, not that sleight of hand stuff. Nope. But this kind of magic is like the magic by which all dissolves into water. It seems to have disappeared. But when the water is evaporated and the salt reappears, in the same way, Ptah is the hidden essence of creation and is the essence of what the human souls which perceive the universe as well. Ptah has indeed become the universe. Or perhaps it would be more accurate to say that the universe appears as such to the untrained human mind, but to the enlightened yogi, sages, and saints, he or she sees only God. Just as wind and its motion are one and the same, the ocean and its waves are one and the same. Here we go, follow along. Now you got the supreme self, and all objects of the world are one and the same, meaning us, humans. According to the Memphite theology, the world is composed of netters. These netters are divine energy forces which compose all physical phenomena, creating time and space, aka the universe. These netters have assumed the bodies, forms of all the objects in the world, which appear on the surface to be different and separate from each other, but in reality, all the netters are the essence of God, and therefore God has entered into all forms of existence, aka his creation. Wrapping it up. In the chapter 17 of the Egyptian book, Coming Forth by Day, the same statement about the supreme being manifesting as the netters or forms of nature is found. Ra is the creator, and the names of his limbs have come into existence. These are the forms of the netters in chapter 17-10 and 11. It was read. That's the lesson. Hope you got it. I got some good stuff coming up. It's called the Great Trinity of Ancient Nurture became Amun Ra Ptah right there. This is more explanation and breaking down. See that guy right there? He's all-encompassing. That's called the nurture. Okay, that's what God looks like when in all his glory, so to speak. And we break it down. He breaks himself into three different aspects of himself. So that's what's gonna be going on next lesson. Right now, in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me 100 miles a day. So I've none of my right thinkers have passed away. Welcome to the new book of African religion and the study of my boy Ptah. I'll be right back.